You said in your televised political address, we in New Zealand First could have done some things better. We're all human, we've made mistakes just as other political parties have. Is that as close to an apology that the public can expect from Winston Peters? Because some people were hurt that you took the corporate money.
Oh, this is ridiculous. This is hypocrisy in its worst extremes. Took corporate money? One of the companies is a serious exporter in this country, and nothing to do with my policy or New Zealand First policy is related to the fact that they donated to New Zealand First. That's number one. The second thing is this. We opposed that law. That's why we supported electoral finance legislation. But you're asking me to live with the past legislation, which I don't like, and be handicapped by that because of the party's views, when I'm out to change the law, support the electoral finance legislation, because I didn't like the law the way it was. And we took a pittance. You know what it was? 13,000 a year for 15 years. These other parties were taking millions. The Cargill Trust, 6.7 million for the ACT Party. Rangitoto Trust. This is hypocrisy of the worst vile thought.
So what were the mistakes you made?
Well, but parties always make mistakes.
What were New Zealand First?
I think, not pushing the Reserve Bank legislation change hard enough. When I was the Minister when I was the Treasurer, I changed the Policy Targets Agreement, which is behind the Reserve Bank Act. The Reserve Bank governor ignored me. Mr. Cullen gets in 1999. He changes the Policy Targets Agreement also. He gets ignored. Moral of the story? If you're seeing you're being ignored, change the darn legislation, the base legislation, so you can't behave that way. Just like the UK has.
We've run out of time, but at your campaign launch, John Rolls sang My Way as a prelude to your entrance. That song is about a man looking back on his life. You've spent the better part of your life in politics. What do you think your legacy to New Zealand will be?
Well, it's a long way from yet. We're not talking legacies, and we're in the prime of our career, where we're making an enormous comeback, despite the worst campaign you've ever seen against one person and his party ever in this country's history. But out there in the streets, I mean, thousands of people nowadays who are saying, look, we're glad that you're back and that you didn't kowtow to these people. We know what's behind it. I trust the New Zealand people to understand the dirt and filth that went behind this, but, you know, the proof of that is on election night.
Finally, I said I would ask, and I'll be seeing him because I interview him every now and then. Matthew Hooton, what was your take on that whole debacle of eye to eye?
I've never seen a more despicable piece of behaviour in my life, where someone is using foul language, not just in front of men, but in front of women, shouting and screaming and behaving in a way that they had to get rid of the tape. The lawyer had to come in and quieten him down because he is some person who's on the taxpayer's teat. He's on all the radio stations, you know, the taxpayer finances, because his consultancy business is no great moment. And if you want to read in the Look in the Hollow Men, his own colleagues and people he worked with will tell you what his value and worth is. My question is, why is this man on TV and radio today as a commentator? He's not a commentator at all. He's right-wing, fascist, biased in the extreme, with a, you know, it might be the son-in-law of a former National Party president, but that's no way to sell someone as being a neutral commentator from the Fourth Estate. And his lies about me, day in, day out, saying that, you know, for example, the Susan Couch Trust is a slush fund for the lawyers. You know, it stinks, that sort of thing. Susan Couch was left to die. Nobody was helping her. The ACC lump sums were cancelled by National in 1999. By the time we'd revived them with Labor, she didn't qualify because her event happened between two stools, as it were. So here's this woman left for dead, maimed for life with a child, desperately needing help. We have given it to her, and he makes those sorts of statements. That's just rotten. You know, Mr. Henry and Mr. Dennis Gates took this case all the way to the Supreme Court and won, and never got paid and never asked for a cent. So the kindness and decency of good men, he has fouled with his malicious allegations.
All right,
one day I'll have to live with that. Meantime, the triumph of nature, of course, is that Susan Couch is going to be helped and hope she'll have a better life.
We really have run out of time, but I also asked Helen Clark this morning on Sunrise, and I'll ask you the same question, do you know of anybody, of any party or any association with any party that has information coming out that will affect National Party's campaign?
Oh, yes, I do.
How big is it going to be?
Well, I think on the question of trust, it's seriously got to be big. but I'm not going to be involved in it. I mean, I'm not wasting my campaign being involved in this. We've got a great story to tell. I want to get on with it.
Winston Peters, it's been a pleasure to have you on Let's Be Frank.
Thank you.
Ta-ra.